last year as Commissioner for Training, and even more fortunate that he agreed to accept the position of First Deputy Commissioner. In that capacity, he's responsible for the administration of the department, training, recruitment, personnel actions, and in this year, the issue of training is paramount for the organization. So he has very significant and broad responsibilities in that very critical area. Joanne Jaffe is probably known to many of you in this room that for many years she headed up the Housing Police Bureau, and for last year I had the privilege to work with her in her capacity as Chief of our Community Affairs Bureau, and the creativity and the energy and the excitement she brings to that environment is something that we all benefit from in the department and those of you in the community. And then Chief Jim O'Neill. Jimmy and I go back to Transit Police days, 1990, when I was first here as Chief of the Transit Police. Jimmy was a young sergeant, had a lot more hair back then. Jimmy was in charge of the video unit, something I made great use of back in the day. Jimmy recently was Chief of Patrol and has recently moved up to Chief of Department, where he's responsible for all the operations, the field operations of the department. Detectives, anti-crime units, all the people that you see in uniform out patrolling the streets. That's what Jimmy runs in the department. I comment on them because I want you to understand the importance we attach to this meeting, the importance we attach to you, the clergy, the importance we attach to the issue that we are here today to discuss. By bringing the senior leadership of the department, I want to emphasize the importance of the mission that we are engaged in together. The idea of trying in this city to find common ground that we can all stand on. So that on that common ground, and reflecting the previous speaker's comment about being able to see each other, the idea is to get onto a level playing field where we can see each other eye to eye, where we can look into each other's eyes, and as you would say in your profession, look into each other's souls, that we find a way to move forward together. We are in extraordinary times, we are in interesting times, we are in exciting times. We are in a time of great opportunity where we can build on the successes of the last 20-some-odd years in the city. In no area of the city has there been more profound change, I think, than the Bronx, that you can appreciate in terms of the image of the city, of this section of New York that was portrayed in the 70s and 80s, and how in the 90s it has begun to turn around, and now in the 21st century it is truly one of the engines that's driving the city forward. Reflected in the crime numbers alone, a tremendous turnaround in crime in this area of the city, but there's still so much out there, still so much more for us to do. Ministry, police, in our service to the community that we both provide services to. So the senior leadership is here today to, one, symbolically show that by our attendance here, that we are caring and we are committed to the mutual common ground that we are trying to occupy, and that we do need to address the issues that face this city at the moment, and the same issues that are facing our country. As what is happening here is not unique to the Bronx, not unique to New York City, not unique to New York State, not unique indeed to America, to the United States. Because some of the issues we are facing is the issue of terrorism and the issue that it brings about in terms of this whole issue of intolerance. So as we move into this year, 2015, in the NYPD, last year, 2014, was a year of planning, was a year of gathering resources. This is a year of implementation. We had a advisory of the City Council of ensuring the resources that are so vital to allowing us to police the city are being made available for training, for equipment, for technology, or hopefully more personnel as we go forward with this year's budget proposal. The resources that are so critical to keeping the city safe. But even as we acquire all that, there is one fundamental goal that we are seeking to achieve with the new technology, the significant increase in training, hopefully the increase in personnel, the increase in equipment. And that what we are trying to achieve is more common ground, more collaboration, more seeing each other with the communities we police, so that our actions don't divide us, but that our actions will join us together and bring us more cohesively together. And that's what we are, in fact, committed to. And that's what we will be doing this year of implementation. This is a year for the department where there will be more training, conducted for our personnel than ever before in the history of the department, where there will be more technology required in the next year than at any other time in the history of the department, where there will hopefully be the building of trust, to levels of trust not seen before in the department at any time in its history. And certainly the idea that as we move forward, that we move forward together. That we need to, using that old expression, all boats rise in a rising tide, we need to collectively find ways that we can all rise together so that we don't have some of our communities that are falling farther behind as others move forward. And what we, the police, attempt to do is to provide common ground that everybody can have a good starting place to seek to achieve for themselves, for their families, for their communities. So we are joined in a common cause. We are joined, and it's appropriate this month where we do celebrate so much of the civil rights movement as reflected in the celebration of the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King, that we are joined in the idea that while much has been done, while much has been accomplished, much more needs to be done. And I say to you on behalf of my colleagues here, and many officers who are in this room, we are committed to working so that we see you. We are committed to working in a way that you see us. We are committed that we will find common ground. Going back to the comment that was made about my personal hero, Joe Friday, Detective Joe Friday, Detective Sergeant Joe Friday, the LAPD. Joe, you did use that expression, just the facts I am. But if you notice, and I've watched every one of those episodes countless times, Joe was very impersonal, very professional, a model of the LAPD. But did you ever see Joe put his arm around a person? Did you ever see him physically try to comfort a person? It was always at a distance. We've come a long way since the policing of the 50s and 60s, where it was just the facts. We want the facts, but we also want to basically treat each other as human beings. We want to be the